Hey, Benicia.
Hey, girl. I don't know about you, but I'll be like jamming to that video behind the
I know, right?
scenes. Like, I love the
Gets
beat.
us
Drop
going.
that beat.
Drop that beat. Yes,
Drop that
yes.
beat.
How
How
are
are
you?
you?
How was your week?
My week was great, actually. It was really good. It was super busy, though. So,
Yeah,
super busy, but it was a great week. How about you?
mine was great too.
Mhm.
Brought on a new client that kept me real busy. So that's
Yay!
awesome, right?
Hmm.
So it was a great week, and I've been looking forward to this. I
Yeah.
really have,
I'm
because
sharing, y'all. Don't worry about me. I'm sharing.
yes. Thank you. Please share. Actually,
Yes.
we give you permission to just take a couple minutes now and share to all your groups
Yes.
and everything. That's one thing that Benicia and I were looking at. We're like, COVID has really impacted a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as timeline and when people are able to join us, and we get a lot of folks that'll do the replay
Yeah.
because COVID has you where you got to go outside when it's nice because you can't go nowhere
Right.
around a whole lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need you guys to share this so that people can watch the replay if they're not able to sit with us right on the spot like you are
Right.
right now, matter of fact.
Yes,
And
we
I
got.
just want to say I am bringing in the Clubhouse family
Mm-hmm.
so they can listen in to join us as well. So,
Yes. And we want to give
yes,
out some
especially,
shout outs, right? We got some people in the
yes, let's do
room.
some shout outs.
Yes, we got Brenda. Brenda is a ride. They say ride or die, but since we, focus on Jesus, we're going to say she a ride or live. She is here faithfully every week. So, Brenda, thank you so much for showing up. Denise is in the house. Tracy's in the house. Listen, Tracy's podcast was fire, fire, fire. If y'all did not see Tracy Fagan, you got to go back and catch that
Yes, you
episode.
got to do the replay on that one. It
Yes,
was
yes. And we
powerful.
got Leah Lean, my girl in the house. So thank
Yes,
you
the
guys
queen,
so much.
international queen, y'all. She has
Mhm.
friends globally that are supporting her initiatives. So it's
Yeah,
so powerful when you have a platform like she does that she can educate folks and also reach out to people around the world that have
right.
needs. That
Yeah.
her heart is so huge. So you know what? I can't wait no more. I'm gonna tell you what. We are about to share with you guys a gentleman that will tell you that is just one of the names he's been given, gentlemen. He's been given several different names,
Several.
but yes, but wow.
Mm,
He is creating what I've been learning about, and I've known all along, but to read it in this book I'm reading, The Alchemist, I think I
mm,
said that right.
mm-hmm,
Um, they talk about finding your personal legend.
mm. That's
And
good.
in my mind, what this gentleman is building, I think he can feel comfortable in saying, I am legend.
That's good. I agree.
And I'm starting to write about that now because it just triggered something in me reading it. This book is so good.
Yeah.
What are you leaving here? What are you building while you're here?
Mm,
Right? That
right.
I think in the pre-show he even said this too, which is powerful. You know, when I leave, I'll still be here.
Yeah.
That's building a legend.
Yeah.
That is legend,
Mm,
and people will be able to speak to the legend that you are. If you walk in God's will and you do, because He doesn't give us any junk assignments, you do what He has for you to do and you do it well. So you get to hear those words that I can't wait to hear. Job well done, my child. That is leaving a legend.
yeah.
So let me tell you a little bit about this legend. Let me tell you. Hey, I hope I say your name right. Erudite Forney. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much for sharing,
joining.
sweetie. Thank
Yeah.
you for being in the room. Yes, he is. He is powerful. He actually is a local legend,
Mm-hmm.
but he's working on the whole global part of it as well. But he's from Gastonia, North Carolina, and he's had several challenges as a child, but we're going to let him talk about that because that's where we're going to get started. I won't steal his thunder, but he has walked through and witnessed some things that we would pray a child would never ever see or experience.
Yeah.
So even having an opportunity, I call it an opportunity because that's what he turned it into, an opportunity to serve time.
Mm.
He has changed that from a sentence to an example of what you can do when
Mm.
that happens to you. He started a nonprofit in 2013, Step Up Leadership Mentoring. And, you know, the work that they're doing is phenomenal.
Yes.
We're going to get him to speak about that as well. But he places social development programs for young men within 8 schools of the community, and he works with the
Mm-hmm.
local police department. You know, I can go on and on. His bio is just amazing. So
It is.
I'm gonna bow out and bring this phenom
Mm-hmm.
on the stage so he can talk with us. But I really want you guys to send him some love as we welcome up. I'm gonna call him Dr. Armstrong, right? Can I do that? Call you Dr. Armstrong, the Dr. Armstrong.
Hey, you know what, Gloria? You know what? I'm going to claim that. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
claim that.
That's
sir.
right.
Yes,
I'm going to
Receive
sir.
claim
it.
that. I'm going to claim that.
Yes.
Absolutely. But listen, I want to say
Yes.
thank you, ladies, you beautiful ladies, for having me. The time has finally come. You know,
Yes.
it's been in the making. It's been in the
It has.
making. So, hey, listen, we here
We
and we
here.
about to have an amazing show today, man. So again, man, I really appreciate you guys.
Yes. Well, we
Yes.
appreciate you, of course, for coming. I remember some people would call Tanya and I Facebook stalkers. I say, that we're just doing our due diligence.
Yeah.
And as we were going through Facebook, I came across uh, a couple of your videos and I began to just kind of tap in. And I want to say, for better lack of words, I kind of love the story of an underdog. That's just my
Absolutely.
thing. And so when I began to hear uh, from the depths of um, the pain, the on unforeseen things that happened to you, but how you allowed um, God, number one, to
Right.
come in, but to actually learn from your situation, your mistakes, your circumstance, and then come out full force and change uh, the trajectory of people's lives,
You
of
know,
the world. I was like, I have to
Yes.
meet
ooh,
this
I'm catching
person.
chills. I'm catching chills. I'm catching chills.
Really, really, your story is very phenomenal. So Tanya, we're gonna just turn it over to you to just tell us a little bit about, your story, where you came from, how you grew up, and whatever else is on your heart to share.
Well, listen, again, man, I can't help but give glory to God, give honor to God. This would not be possible if it wasn't for him. But you know what I mean, I have to also take credit, you know what I mean, for being obedient to the
That's right.
vision he gave me and understanding that, my life had a purpose. Everything that I experienced had a purpose. Every scar
Yes.
have a story. And so,
Mm,
like you said, I'm just like you. I'm going to always go against the grain. I'm going
yes.
to always bet against the underdog. And,
Mm-hmm.
every time that I see someone or any situation before me, if I feel that that person is being counted out or, or overlooked or shunned upon, like
Mhm.
I just I want them to prove people wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's so
Yes.
many people who counted me out, and talked about me, and
Mm,
cast me away. And
mm,
Mhm.
it's something that honestly, still to this day, it drives me, it pushes me,
mm.
because and no matter how much success I have right now, there are still people betting against me. And
Yes.
and so and but just to give a little story about again, this little kid who had to experience so much from foster care to group home, detention centers, training school, state prison, federal prison, abuse that I experienced, from my father, and molestations, things like that, so on and so forth. It caused me to deal with a lot of trauma experiences, traumatic experiences, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and I had to let it out somehow.
Yeah.
It's just like when you going through something and you just want to scream, you just got to let it out.
Yeah.
And I just had to let it out. And oftentimes when I needed to let it out, it was always at the wrong time,
Mm.
on the wrong people
Mm.
that didn't do the hurt to me.
Mm. Yeah.
And it caused me to be more distant, more cut off with. I didn't want to trust people, those things, and it caused me to have trouble in school coming up, where I can recall a lot of people try to step in and direct me, but it would have took more than just you telling me that you saw something special. It would have took more than you just sitting down and just having a lunch day with me as a kid. What I mean? This little kid needed consistency. This little kid needed
That
to,
part.
what I'm saying? I needed to be held, what I mean, hugged and just
Yes.
embraced. And so I didn't have that. So, a lot of things that I experienced, I chose to. Let me not push the blame on people or blame people. I chose to internalize my pain, my experiences, and it caused me to make a lot of terrible decisions, to where I was facing 24 years to life when I was 13 years old for attempted murder charge. And before that even happened, I have already been through foster homes, group homes, detention centers, in and out the system. And so it was already, I felt like it was already mapped out. It was already destined to me, to what I felt my life was going to pan out to be. But, what I mean, until I found God, and I always say this, but God.
But God.
People ask me all the time, when did the light come on for you? But
Yeah.
God is when I gave my life to Christ.
Mm.
And and we'll get into all of that. But yeah, I kept going in and out. I got out at 17. I went right back at 19 because I came home with no structure, no guidance, no plan, no resources, no support, no nothing. And so it was almost like I was just thrown back out there to figure it out. And as a kid, again, I came home at 17. I went in at 13, came home at 17. I'm still a kid.
Yes.
I'm still a baby. And so again, without a clue, without an idea of what you want with your life. And so I just went back to what I was familiar with. I went back to the environment. It's almost like you clean a pig up, you take him out of the slop and you put him around green pasture grass, and it's more beautiful. But if they don't not understand
how to function in that. Yes.
They're going to return back to what they're familiar with.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's what I did. And when I return back, I always tell people, anytime that you've been removed from something and given an opportunity, if you return back to that thing, it will always be 10 times worse than it was the first time.
That's
And,
Bible.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
Sure.
that's in relationships. That's with anything you look at. And it was 10 times worse. And what happened was, I got on this path and this direction where it was like I was just going in a direction of destruction. And so committing crimes, doing drugs, using pills, so on and so forth. And at 19 years old, I was facing another 35 years of life for another attempted murder charge that I committed. And again, I'm in the same situation, not understanding what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
But understood this. I understood that the actions that I had committed, I got myself. I understood that. I understood
that's
that.
huge.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
huge.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I understood that. And, but still yet I didn't understand the potential I had. But I can still remember people telling me, you're different. You know, even my mom, who used to be a heroin addict, a dope addict, my mom used to still, I could still hear her tell me, you're different than all the other boys.
Wow.
Even when she was in her darkness, even when she was having her own battles she had to fight, this woman would still tell me, you're different.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it. I didn't know what that difference was. But until I was facing 35 years to life, I ended up signing a 10-year plea, and I did 8 years on that 10. And I had a lot of positive men was trying to steer me in the right direction because, again, God kept putting right people in my path. And it wasn't to sow the seed. It was just to plant and keep going. Like there was planting, you know, they would, it just pull me to the side, ask me to come to Bible study, ask me to come to church, and I would decline. I was always decline. Like, man, like I ain't here for all that. But God have a way of getting your attention.
Yes, he does.
When he needs you to pay attention. And I'm gonna say that again because a lot of times
that's good.
The reason why we're going through the hell that we're going through and the storms that's in our lives and the seasons that we're going through because we're not paying attention.
That's right.
We're not paying attention.
That is so good.
God knew how to get my attention when I wasn't paying attention. But when he got my attention, I was paying attention. And I ended up going to church for the first time in my entire life when I was in federal prison. I was 24 years old when I had my first encounter with the Holy Spirit. Ladies, when I say I didn't understand, I didn't know what that was. I knew the feeling was weird, funny, and it felt good.
Right.
You know, it was everything. It was
a good You're like, I felt a lot. I've been high, I've been at the club, I've been doing, but this is different right here.
My emotions was all over the place, but
yeah,
I remember, and I love sharing this story because it was a guy from DC singing, "Open up the floodgates of heaven, let it rain." Before I knew who actually sung this song, I thought this was his song. He created, he wrote, and he sung it. And that's when I remember lifting my hands. And I remember, I don't remember what I said. I don't remember who delivered me. All I remember crying for hours, hot tears. And I just couldn't shake the feeling. But I remember I made a commitment.
Jesus.
And the reason why you got people that are believers, Christians, or faith believers, whatever they want to consider themselves, or people who go to church, they have a relationship, but they don't have a committed relationship. See, we can have a relationship with somebody.
There's a difference.
We don't feel like we're entitled to be committed. I committed myself to God. And that means no matter what I go through, no matter what challenges I face, no matter whatever the obstacles are, I'm gonna stay connected. And I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna let y'all have it because you know what we're witnessing. Like you said, you watch my videos, you've seen the growth and all the things, but that's nothing but God. That's not me. That's God. And the difference between people who choose to do something opposed to those who are chosen to do it. And so I've been chosen. I have an assignment on my life. And you know, and I'm here to fulfill that assignment. So I want to thank you guys again for having me on here.
Absolutely. You said so many things that was, you know, like so powerful. I want to ask this question though. There's so many things that's running through my mind. I'm like, okay, which way like which way do we go first? I want to go back first before I ask you this question and say that I think you shed a lot of light sometimes on when we see behaviors in individuals. And like you said, we just count them out based on their behavior, but we actually don't understand the context of why that individual is operating the way they are. And so I think, you know, as believers, as people who just want to be better people, that we have to recognize that there's a root to all behavior. to
Everything.
Yes.
everything. And I heard, I listen to a lot of sermons and read a lot of books and things like that. And one thing you said, which was so powerful, is that first of all, we all know that hurt people.
Right.
That's
Right. Right.
just a given. But one thing I respect about you, your ministry, that is like seamless. It's just everything you do is you take accountability, which a lot of people don't.
Right.
Do you think that we can even change outside of course, God can change us, but how important would you say taking accountability is to really being able to change your life?
Well, I think you asked the question and you gave the answer to it. Uh,
Mm,
you know, nothing is going to change first until you take accountability. Period.
mm,
Period.
mm,
When you look at relationships, if no one takes accountability of whatever this choice or decision or hurt, whatever they cause on the other person, nothing is going to change in that relationship. And something that I always say in every one of my videos, nothing changed till you change. And if you, once you understand nothing changed till you change, that's taking accountability of your
mm,
Yes.
actions, your decisions, of the things that you're doing to cause yourself.
yeah,
It don't matter, it doesn't matter what it is. It don't always have to necessarily be the ultimate you doing things that to get you in trouble, but sometimes it's you doing things and you keep getting the same results and you
mm,
keep wondering why, like your wheel keeps spinning and you're not going nowhere.
mm,
We have to learn to step back and make adjustments. Even when you make adjustments, again, you're taking accountability of
yeah,
why you're not going nowhere, what you keep doing wrong. And again, anything in life, you have to take accountability in it
mm,
to
Hmm.
go forward, to grow, to do anything. Taking account is the number one key to growth and to move.
mm. That's so good. So
Yes,
good.
it is. It's really powerful to own it. I want to go back to
Mm,
something that you shared, and you kind of like, because you said so many powerful things. It's almost
yeah.
like we kind of skim the top of
Skated
it, right?
over it.
It was
Yeah.
like it's huge because I want to talk to little Arkevious. I want to talk to
Mm,
him. I want to find out from him,
mm,
because you were walking away from your calling. You've always had that. It wasn't like you were
yeah.
called when you figured it out.
Right,
You've
right,
been called,
Yeah.
right?
right.
So when you made that decision to let go and let God, you were still little
Hmm.
Arkevious.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, talk to
Yeah.
us about that process of you letting go because you've seen so much, you got involved in some
Experience.
pretty
Yeah.
some pretty scary stuff.
Yes.
um how did you work through that and say, okay, I'm done with it? I love you, God. I don't know what you all about, but it's got to be better than this. You know what I
You
mean?
got it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you got me doing, God, it
Mm.
has to be better than this.
Mm.
And man, y'all about to like. I think we're gonna end up having service. I
Look, come
feel
on.
it in my spirit,
Go
and
with it.
yeah,
Hmm.
and I can't help but think of a song. God, whatever you doing, don't do it without me
Yeah.
Mm,
in this
mm,
season. Whatever you doing, don't do it without me.
Mm.
Um, praise God, Jesus.
Mm.
yeah.
We all have a purpose on this earth, and sometimes it take people longer to discover whatever that purpose is.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
sometimes, like we were saying earlier, God try God is moving, but he can't move because it's still what you surrounded and connected to.
Mm.
Yes.
If I was
Yes.
still in my situation around those type of people in that environment, I am 100% certain that I wouldn't have heard him,
Yeah.
saw the signs, or experienced what I experienced.
Mm.
So without me saying anything else, I want to say prison saved my life.
Mm.
Ah,
But prison also got me to hear God
Mm-hmm.
yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
to listen to God.
Mm.
But that little young man, even And to all the believers out there, to all the Christians out there, to all of those who want to follow God, understand that it don't get easy following God.
Come on, sir.
It don't get easy.
Speak the
It's
truth.
hard
Yes,
because
it is.
we have to remove ourselves, the way we think, what we feel, and how we operate. We
Yes.
can't operate how we always operated. And to understand, even when I gave my life to Christ, I was still holding on to a lot of hate, a lot of resentment, a lot of bitterness. And, you know, we're not here to talk about Christians or people, but we tend to make it hard to forgive people who hurt us.
That's right.
And
Speak truth.
when God came into my life, and when I surrendered and I gave myself to Him to be a living sacrifice, I was still holding on to so much. I was still hurt. I was a hurt believer.
Come
I was a
on.
hurt believer.
Yes,
Come on.
God.
And it wasn't until I was 36, 37 years old is when I decided to truly forgive my mom.
Yeah.
Wow,
God was opening up doors, allow me to walk in places, but I was still connected to a lot of pain.
Yes.
sir.
Come
Yes, sir.
on.
And
Yes.
it's
Acknowledge that. Yes.
and again, I can go on, but I'm gonna say this is that when I decided to forgive the hurt, the pain, whatever you said, whatever you done to me, when I solely walked in my purpose, meaning I am not connected to nothing that was put out to destroy me, was set out to put me in places where, you know, the prison for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
When I solely walked in my purpose and I said, I'm going to forgive, let me share something with people. When you forgive, it opens up doors for other people.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Because a lot of times people want to love you, but they can't connect, they can't reach, they
Come
can't
on.
because of what you holding on to.
That's right.
Oh,
So
my
my
goodness.
forgiveness has healed other people in my family.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yes.
I don't know if
good.
that's the answer to your question, but you know, I just feel like, you know, me answering my calling has broken a generational curse
That's right.
and opened up the hearts of so many people in my family.
Yes.
And I want to
Yes.
say this, and it also helped my mom to be 14 years clean from crack cocaine.
Come
I
on.
definitely
Come
want to say that.
on now.
Yeah, I definitely want to say, oh, yes, absolutely.
Hallelujah.
Absolutely.
Come
Powerful.
on. Yes.
Powerful.
It,
The
it
chat is
definitely
going
Yeah.
crazy.
answered.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chat is. It definitely
is.
answered my
Forgiveness.
question because you that was brave and courageous and you confirmed what I said earlier before we even really kicked off, in that I know from the mindset that you have, automatically I knew prison to you was an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds strange to say that out loud to other people, but until they understand the journey that you've been on, then you can say that statement that prison saved my life and it saved my family.
Correct.
Because it helped you to make certain decisions, and it's just incredibly powerful.
Absolutely.
That you walked in that and you had to forgive yourself.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
You had to forgive yourself in the things that you've done, and that and still wipe away the shame, so that you feel that you could approach him
Right.
and change lives.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's an honor to sit here and talk with you today about this, because most men are not this open and want to share, but I know that your calling is deep. And you have a mission. So, Benicia, did you want to say something? I know you had. had a
I'm
question.
just blown away. First of all, I was like, I'm glad I tuned in today. I see so many people are saying they're so glad that they tuned in, and that how the power of forgiveness. I think the picture that you painted was just so beautiful. That forgiveness is not about just us. You know,
Mhm.
forgiveness is unlocking
Yeah.
people and things, you know, in our lives
Yeah.
that are hindering us from experiencing the freedom, the peace, the blessings, all of those things that God desires to give us.
Mhm.
And to
Mhm.
not walk in your purpose is what I took from it, is selfish.
Yes.
Because by not
Yes.
walking in your purpose,
That's
right,
good.
you're holding up what
Hmm.
God wants to do all around you.
Hmm.
I want to tap into what Tanya said. My mind was just, it was just burning in my spirit. So many people have done different things, and has found it hard to forgive themselves, or people are constantly reminding them of who they used to be.
Hmm.
How did you navigate being able to lay down the guilt, the shame, and what others were saying about you?
Listen, before I say, y'all are asking some amazing questions. Let me say that, okay? Um,
Thank you,
but
sir. We do our best.
Yeah.
and but it's one thing I say is that in order for people to believe, you have to believe. You can't be on both sides of the fence.
Mm,
Whatever
Yeah.
decision you make for your life, you stand on that, you walk in that, and you don't look back.
mm,
Yes.
And I didn't have to worry about people opinion of the choice I made for my life because they saw the consistency in the
Mm.
direction that I was going.
mm,
And it wasn't like he was saying this, but he's doing this.
right.
Mm.
He's walking like this, but he's acting like this. They didn't
Yeah.
see,
Or-
Hmm.
I was where my mind was, where
Hmm.
my
Mhm.
direction that I was headed with, where that was
So
at, where
good.
the
Mm,
position in my life was, that was like everything was aligned. And
mm,
so, I always tell people, you can look back when I started the journey, when I answered the call, because I've always been called for this. When I
right.
answered the call, you can see the consistency Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday, every month, every year,
Mm,
inspiring people.
yeah.
And
Yes.
I want to say this, even when I was going through my storm, I was still trying to help other people get through theirs.
Mm, that's
And a
good.
lot of people didn't know it. A lot of people
Hmm.
didn't know that I was going through my own. A lot of people didn't know that I had my own problems.
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, that my life is a picture for others to see themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's with
Yes.
all the flaws, with all the scars, with all the issues, and you still trusting God. You
Mm,
know,
Yes.
I was going through a divorce and I was steady trying to help other people heal. And I
mm,
need healing myself.
yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah.
lost my home in my job, and I was still trying to empower other people not to quit when I was in between.
Mm,
I don't know what to go, left or right.
right.
So the point
Yes.
is that people saw what I was saying, and my words
Mhm.
it matched my actions.
So good.
Yes.
And I think that's the most important thing, that even when God calls you to do something,
So good.
that he wants to see if you still going to do it when it don't look like it's in your
Come
favor.
on.
Come on.
Come
I
on.
And so,
yes, I want
and
to
many people look at my reaping season and like, man, how? But you don't understand the sowing.
You,
You don't
sir.
yes.
understand how long I've been sowing.
Yes, yes,
You know,
yes.
Yes.
like oh my God, praise God. You know, we can't get
Mhm.
so distracted on what we want God to do for us, and if we ain't willing to do the work.
Come on.
That's the truth.
You
That's
know,
the truth.
you know,
That's the truth.
I said the other day, I said we have to stop trying to use God and rather be used by God.
I got that in my notes. I
Amen.
You
was gonna say
get,
Amen.
and so
Amen.
but
Yes.
that's what I wanted to say. You know what I mean?
Woo!
But praise God for that.
Yes.
I stayed the course.
Yeah.
Even when it wasn't looking right for me, I stayed the course.
Mm.
Even when I was going through my storm, I stayed the course. I
Mm-hmm.
trusted him, regardless if I didn't know what it looked like on the other end. I didn't know
Mm.
how long I was going to be in this storm, but I
Yeah.
stayed the course.
Stayed the
And that's what I want to encourage people before I even release this back to you. Stay the course.
Mm.
Don't say something if you're not going to do it. Don't be doing something, but you're saying something totally different. Stay
Wow.
the course.
That's so good.
Yes. Do not be hypocritical,
Ooh.
right?
Right.
Do not
Right.
be,
Do the work. Do the
do the
work.
work
I
and
love
stay
what
the
you
course.
Yes, and I love really what I hear you saying in so many words is I love when you said information without application is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing.
It's nothing.
So you can be learning, you can be at every church function, conference, you could read the books, you could be on every podcast, but
Come
if
on,
you
Benicia,
don't
because folks
do
think that's it. That's
nothing
it. They think
with
that's a,
it,
mm-mm.
then what you're not going
Yeah.
to see any fruit. That's one thing that I do respect is your grind.
Yeah.
So you said it earlier, and I think that's so good. Sometimes we treat God like he's a genie in a bottle,
Mm.
right?
Come on, rub the
I tell
glass, Benicia. Come on.
I tell people all the time, like Jesus did all that he was supposed to do. The only thing they have left to do is come back. So you have to partner with
Yes.
God, with the Holy Spirit, you know what I mean? Practically,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually, to be able to pursue purpose and destiny. Can we
Mm.
talk a little bit about those disciplines that you have? I mean, when we were in the green room, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but
No,
you was
no.
like 20. Sometimes I haven't slept.
Yeah.
I've been up 24 hours
Yeah.
grinding. People see, oh, he's an entrepreneur. He has this, he has that, but they don't see behind the scenes. Can you talk about
Yes,
some of those
Lord. Talk about that,
characteristics
Dr.
that you have to
Armstrong.
have in
You
order to live out purpose and destiny, besides just prayer and all of
right.
those things? Practically, what does the work look like?
The work it's a mess. It's never
Mm,
organized. I don't,
mm.
Oprah is a billionaire, but when you look at her personal life, it's so much going on.
Mhm.
And that's what successful people don't share.
That's
They want you to see,
good.
the made up,
Hmm.
Look,
the makeup.
I'm about to get a collection by it's gonna be me and the dog putting money
Offering
in over
in the
here.
mail.
I'm not, this
you
entrepreneur
know,
is right with you right now.
you know what I'm saying?
They
And
don't
that's what a lot of people they got it misconstrued is that even when God calls you, it's never pretty. It's
mm,
it's
Mm.
it's not glitter, it's not gold, it's not
Please help
fancy,
us. Come
and
yes,
on.
God.
but
Yes,
see, that's
God.
what I just feel like when you are called to do something, you're called to do it through the mess. You
Mm.
have to
Yes.
figure this thing out and still trust. And so with being a father, and just real quick, I have three
Yes.
beautiful daughters,
Oh.
and I have, and they're by different women, right? And we'll go into that also too, but I have to deal with three women, young girls, on top of three mothers, and
Ooh,
get them
child.
all, and we all have great relationships to where I get all my daughters every other weekend at the same time. I want them to grow up together. I want them to know each other. I want them to have a relationship and a bond with each other. Um, on top of being a supervisor, I work from midnight to 8 in the morning too,
Wow.
where I deal with mentally challenged kids. Then on top of I have a nonprofit on top of getting bookings and having programs. So my time is always,
Hmm.
so when
Occupied. Yes.
people see a quote or a post, or they see the pictures, you don't understand the work behind it.
Come on.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
you don't understand that you're waiting on that one email for that contract to get approval, or that return phone. Like it's all about trusting and while you enduring. So if you can't trust while you enduring and while you're going through it,
Yeah.
you're not called to do this type of work. But you have to show people, and I think that's what I feel like what separates me was showing people like you can still go through what you go through and still pursuing what God called you to.
My God.
And having with all the things I experienced, having those things to happen to me in my life, I was still trying to manage and position and structure a lot of things without it getting all out of whack and me saying, you know what, forget it. I'm done. Because it would have been so easy for me to say, you know what, I ain't doing this. I'm done with it. That's easy. But I knew what God put in me.
Yeah.
It was like somebody said provision, he gave it to me and I saw it. So no matter what I go through, no matter what I got to do, I must do it. And so that's what people are saying. They're seeing the fruits of my labor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what does that look like though? Because you pour, right? So you have the nonprofit organization, you pour in there. Relationship, you pour in there. You have kids, you pour in there. So what does it look like for you to fill back up? Because we're not supposed to pour, right? We're not supposed to pour from emptiness, right? So what does that practically look like for you?
I spend a lot of time, let me say this, I spend a lot of time to myself. And I know how to say no. And I know how not to allow myself to be everything for everybody. So I've learned to say no, and I learned to take time to myself, and I pray a lot, I meditate a lot, and every opportunity that I can sit down with somebody, like I have mentors, but I'm very selective of who I receive from.
And should be.
And so and a lot of times, believe it or not, I know when to be the teacher and when to be the student.
That's so good.
That is so important.
Believe it or not, God will send a message through a peasant, and you have to be obedient and mature in the word to know, I got you, God. I heard you, God. I see you. I see what you're saying. I see what you're doing. Perfect, right on time. And that's what me, like, I don't shun out what I feel like the right thing that I need in that moment, in that season, can come from a homeless person.
Yes,
that's
sir.
right. That's right.
And so, a lot of people look for the influential people, the motivation, the big rigs and the mega churches and all these people. But I feel like what God has allowed his world to be, my teacher. The world, the earth is my turf, but the world, life is a teacher, and I'm learning every single day. And so I read books, I listen to certain podcasts, but I mainly listen to God.
That's so good.
Nowadays everybody has something to say, and you got to be careful that you don't listen to what everybody's saying. And you listen to God. I listen to God, and so a lot of people don't even realize, as much as I talk, I'm quiet and I'm to myself a lot. Like, for instance, you've never saw me post pictures with groups of people and other people and stuff. You would never see me. You would never. And I'm just one of them people that I love to be to myself when I know I need to be to myself. And so I don't know if I answered your question good enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you did.
Absolutely.
You sure did. You said something earlier that I find so powerful, and I know you covered a couple of them already, but I was watching this sermon by Dr. Michael Todd, and he did this piece where he says we walk with stuff like what you said earlier, right? We walking with all this stuff. Our arms are full because we carrying all this stuff. So when he wants to throw something to us, we don't have no more space to catch it because we holding on to stuff. What are some of those, just so people can get an idea in their head, some of the balls that Dr. Armstrong had to throw away so he could receive what God had for him? What was
everything? I had to drop everything. And I'm being so honest and transparent.
Yes, sir.
Please.
I had to again, God couldn't connect to me because it was what I was connected to, or he couldn't take me to where I need to go because I was connected to the wrong things. And and it's not always people. Sometimes it's me being in my own way.
That's right.
And
Say that.
me being guarded, me being prideful, having an ego, and still some things. Like I was driving the other day and I'm still like, it's so hard for me to ask people for something. And I'm like, again, I'm always critiquing myself. Like, you have to get out of that, Arkevious. There's so many people will help you if you open up your mouth and ask. But that's another thing. Again, it's like I only would ask somebody if I know you, and if I know you would do it for me. But sometimes it's not always needing to receive what you're asking for. Sometimes God would allow you to ask that person, but gonna give you what you're not expecting, but what you need, so you can accomplish or do whatever it is you're trying to do. But I had to let go of everything because even though I experienced a lot of hurt from other people and things like that, there's a lot of things I did to myself. There's a lot of things that I allowed myself to things that happened to me because of the choices I made, the decisions I made, and my responses to a lot of things. And so I had to let go of all of that. And and it's almost, again, it's just like allowing yourself to be fully free so God can move in your life. And and I still to this day, like, gotta always remind myself at some point in time, okay, if you don't change this is what's going to continue to happen.
Right.
You have to have, we said it at the beginning, taking accountability.
Yes.
Taking accountability. Like, okay, okay, now why is this happening? Then God will send the right people in your path to say certain things to you.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a very mature and I'm obedient servant of God. So I'm always listening with what I hear and not what I see. So a lot of people get distracted with trying to listen with their eyes. And so they'll look at a person, what they wearing, what they have, they status, whatever they position, and they trust. But I listen and pay attention with my ears, because what you're saying is going to always be how you truly feel. And I always just feel like, I just really have to get into that point of just being obedient. And I'm listening to you guys. So I'm always to myself, and I'm always critiquing myself. I'm always trying to better myself, and no one can better me but myself.
Yeah. I love that. It takes humility to be a person that critiques yourself. Like that is something that will always keep you in a posture of being coachable and teachable. If you always critiquing everyone else or what's going on around, but never critiquing you, and like you said, when you have a relationship with God, he'll check you in your quiet time. Like, sir, I'm trying to get this to you, but I can't because we operate in pride. And sometimes we think pride is just thinking that I'm the best at this and that. No, pride is sometimes, what we don't do, which is ask. I want to talk about your faith for a minute, because as I was doing, my research, or I'm your friend on Facebook. So as I'm looking at your posts and things like that, I saw where you were blessed with a vehicle for your nonprofit organization, right? But what I love,
that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yes. So I want you to talk about that a little bit. But what I love about the post is that you said, I prayed in 2016. Is that correct? 2016 for it. And I'm going to let you tell when it actually, manifested, and how you just didn't stop there. That's what encouraged me. So I got the van. That's great. But now I'm looking for the next. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, again, God timing is not our timing.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that the truth?
When we want something, when we pray for something, we be wanting it right then and there. I don't care what nobody think. Like when we praying about something, we pray like for that thing to happen like right now.
Yes.
But that's not how it works. You have to pray and get the work. You pray and you get the work. And in 2016, I was Well, I started the nonprofit in 2013.
Mhm.
I started taking it serious in 2015. And with the help of something happening with these young men, people were looking for programs, and my program grew so fast that I wasn't prepared. And we'll get into that again, because sometimes we can move ahead of God. We can get ahead of him and not understand that the timing, the things you need to learn, the things you need to develop, the things you like. It wasn't my season, but I stepped in front of God. I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like I didn't. And it caused so much pressure. It caused so much drama. It just caused me to be so bitter about the calling and not loving the passion no more. But I prayed about it because I used to use my own personal car to transport a lot of the young kids that didn't have transportation. And, I was maybe reaching out to one church trying to see, can we use your van for this? And reach out to friends who got cars like, hey, can you put 2 people in this car? And I was like, you know what? I knew it in my spirit that one day someone is going to bless me with a van. And I prayed about it, and I didn't pray about it no more. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand the art and trusting and believing and having faith in God's timing, that when you pray about something, pray about it, leave it alone, and keep moving and doing what you're supposed to do, and still have faith. Don't keep revisiting. It's almost like having a child that asks you for something. You like, don't ask me no more. I'm gonna think about it. And keep coming to you. Listen, stop.
That's good.
Stop. Listen, you keep praying about it. I don't want to give it to you.
Right.
Listen, you ask me as a parent. I want to see if you deserve what you're asking for. And you know what I mean? Sometimes that what you're asking for, even though I can give it to you right now as a father, but you're gonna have to earn this. Let me see if you deserve this blessing. And I feel like my father especially, he is a person that before he gives you anything, you must prove to him you are deserving of this blessing. And from 2016, I still had my programs. Going through a lot of disappointment, a lot of people not showing up, a lot of people not helping, a lot of people not being supportive. It got kind of, I want to say it got kind of hard for me to even want to do it, because I'm like, you can't do this by yourself. Right. And, you got people seeing you doing the work, but don't want to chip in and help. And so I started looking at that. I started getting out focus, but I kept doing the work in the schools, out of the schools, taking the kids on field trips and stuff like that. And again, it goes to my relationship with CMPD, a great friend of mine still to this day, even when he was the police chief, and that's Kurt Putney. Him and I are still friends to this day. If I need him, he got me without a question, without a shadow of a doubt. But one day I was in Delahaye Court in Charlotte, and people saw me actually going door to door trying to sign up these young men and get them loaded up in my car. And a friend of mine was like, man, I see what you're doing, man. It's just sad that, people don't see it. Man, I'm going to reach out to a friend of mine and see if we can get some transportation. I've heard people say what they're going to do so many times, but all right. Yeah, if you can, that'd be nice. Literally in 2 weeks, I was jogging at a school, and he said, man, what you doing? September the 2nd. Actually, September the 2nd was a full year I had the van. I said, what I need to be doing? He said, well, you better be downtown at the police department, because Scott Clark Toyota is going to donate a van. And, I just shared this with somebody, is that I don't get excited about blessings because I know it's supposed to happen. And so when you know what you're doing and who you're doing it for, when things happen, it's supposed to happen. This is what he do. This is what he do. So I'm not jumping like I'm shot. No, it's supposed to happen, and I operate like that. And so I had somebody acting like, man, I would have been crying and everything. I'm like, bro, it's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? But it's not what you. It's not receiving a blessing. Now it's what you do with the blessing.
Yeah.
God gave me a second chance. But everyone gets a second chance, but it's what you do with that second chance.
Wow.
And so everything God is doing in my life it's about what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
You're not just holding on to it. You're just not trying to keep it to yourself. You know what I
Right.
mean? You're not trying to be. You're not trying to be. You're not trying to have an ego. You're not trying to be prideful. Nah, whatever God blessed me with, I'm going to bless others with. And so we took field trips. We took in kids on men's retreats in Tennessee, hiking, camping trips, field trip. I mean, everything you could think of. Because now that He blessed me with that, He blessed me to continue to have a relationship with Scott Clark Toyota, which is now one of our corporate sponsors. So I can go to the actual man himself. If whatever I need, they got me. You know what I mean? But that came from connections. That's what God do.
Yes,
He's a
that's the
connection with
power
people.
right there.
Yeah.
That's
God
so
will
true.
put them in your path. He will
Yeah.
put them in your. He's
That's
going to
so
make sure you have provisions.
Yes.
That's right.
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 So
And I love
that's
that.
so good.
I love what you said. I get it. Like, it's not that I'm not grateful, because
Mhm.
obviously God has done so much that you're
Right.
grateful. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think what I took from that is that you can't pray and not expect,
Come on. You.
right? I mean, that's what I'm running with that. Like, ooh, that
Yes.
hit
I
me.
mean,
That
I
hit me
like
right
that.
here.
I
I
love
like
it.
that.
I love it because it's like you're saying, if you continue to ask for the same thing over and over and over again, it's like
Right.
you canceling the last time you
Mhm.
asked,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense. Don't you
Mhm.
believe that I'm gonna give it to you? You
The
already
first
Mm.
said
time.
Mm.
yes. Don't
Why
you
you keep
believe?
coming to me about the
Right.
same thing?
Right.
If you
I was
believe that I'm gonna do it,
Yeah.
That's so true. I was always taught that, you ask and then thank him. It's already
Mm.
done. Lord,
Yeah.
thank you for the, vehicle. Thank
yes.
you for this. Thank you for that. Like,
Mhm.
it's a done deal. So now I
Mhm.
can move into gratefulness and gratitude. And that's another thing that I want to talk
Go
about,
ahead. Go
because
ahead.
you
Hold up.
talk about that all the time.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
I want to say this too, because I want
Yeah.
people. I don't want to put out a false narrative of asking and waiting, asking and working. We're not
Yes,
Mm,
waiting on
sir.
nothing. You know,
Yes.
if you asking for God to allow you to make this relationship work,
mm.
that means
Yes.
you have to be positioning yourself to work on some things about
Wow.
you.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
God can't move into nothing if it's not in order.
Mm,
You have to be positioning yourself and positioning things, and you have to be working on those things. If you
mm.
want God to bless your finances, first you must become disciplined how you spend your money, how you
That's
budget
true.
your money, what you got bad habits in whatever area in your life. If you want God to bless you in receiving a promotion or a raise in your job, first you must ask yourself, am I trustworthy to be promoted?
That's right.
Woo.
Do I even show up with the right attitude?
Mm,
Am
Yes.
I a team player?
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do I make myself accessible to my supervisor? If he need me to do anything, he can count on me.
Mm.
If you want God to bless you with a brand new house, you have to first must fix your credit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
That's
just
practical
it's
Decency in
practicality.
order.
Yes.
Yes. Decency in order.
what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So like you pray about it and you get to work. You
Come
Yes,
start
on.
sir.
fixing the things in your life. You
I
start
love that.
fixing the things about you. You start changing, making adjustments, taking accountability so God can have something that he can move in and say, you know what? Now it's time. Because guess what? The blessing that I'm about to bless you with, you
Mm-hmm.
can handle it. See, if I bless you right now while you're trying to pray for this thing, you wouldn't know what to do with it. You wouldn't know how to,
Right.
what I'm saying? You
Mm.
you would
You
mess it
wouldn't.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's so
you
good.
know, I'm receiving the blessings that God has prepared for me because I know what to do with them now.
Mm.
Maybe when I prayed for it in 2016, I may not been ready for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because in 2016, I was going through a separation and a divorce and I lost my job. Who knows? I probably would have sold the van to put money in my pocket to try to survive. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Who
That's true.
knows?
Who
You know what I
knows?
mean?
That's
So
right.
God's timing is always the right timing, not when we
Always.
want it.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
Always.
so good from
It
all
is.
perspectives. Like,
It is.
it's ministering to me even in the area of like singleness
Yeah.
and waiting. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, we talk about it all the time. Are you in preparation mode,
Yeah,
or you
yeah,
just like, you know what, I just can't wait till it well, what are you doing
right.
to prepare for that, or
Hmm.
whatever it is? You have to be a good steward
Yes,
over
In
what you
all areas.
already
yes,
have
that's facts. That's facts.
In
for the
all areas.
addition to
Hmm.
be
Yes,
able to
child.
come. And I just
Hmm.
love that because, again, I think sometimes, and I know you wrote a post about this too, about like being lazy. Sometimes as
Hmm.
believers, we just lazy. We just want
Yeah,
to pray, believe God, and just keep praying, 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 like you said, but we're not doing no work. I've
we
been
ain't doing that.
guilty of that. And the
Yeah,
Lord is like, oh, okay, you prayed, but what we doing? Like
right.
what
Yeah, faith
resources
without works.
have you
Faith
Potato.
without
tapped
works.
in? You know, what networking have you done? Like you can, I don't care what level you're on. There is something that you can be doing. One of my mentors told me every day, I don't care, like you said, you work 9 to 5 or whatever,
Hmm.
every day you should be doing something that sows into your
Hmm.
purpose
Hmm.
and your destiny.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, with that being said, how do I know you said that you have mentors?
Uh-huh.
Um, how important do you feel? And I know you rely on God a lot, which is the
Hmm.
most important thing. But are there certain individuals that you go to, when there's decisions you need to make? Like how does that work for you in making sure that you're accountable to someone else?
Well, again, a lot of people have been placed in my life for certain things and certain things that I'm working on. Then there are certain people that God has placed in my life prior to that I need to revisit certain conversations. And
Mm,
again, that's me getting out of my way and let go of that pride and going to people saying like, listen, I need your help. This is what I'm working on, but I feel like I'm stuck. And, I stay reaching back out to people,
mm,
and those resources that, we have to sometimes learn how to, stay connected with those people.
that's
You know what I
good.
mean? Again,
Mhm,
they serve a purpose in whatever season, whatever God's got you doing, or whatever the case may be. But it's okay to still be connected to those people for certain things. You might need to call them back. And
yeah.
I got to share with people like Colin Pinkley is the one of my mentors. He is the executive director of the Harvest Center, and
Mm,
powerful
mhm,
man of God. He's the chaplain of the Hornets. And he was placed in my life when I first started this journey. And to sit here and people be coming to me as if though I'm this huge person, like this
mhm.
phenomenal person, and I still look at them like, man, like I want to learn. Like I need you to teach me. And like I know
Wow.
you're doing it, but yet I'm doing it. But I feel like I need to learn this to help me take it to the next level. So I really have people, and I reach out to them, and sometimes I just sit down and I might be listening to somebody else's conversation, and
Mm,
what they're talking with someone else about might be something that I've been eating, and I've done that so
mm,
many times. Like, ooh,
mm,
and again, and it just go back to being obedient,
mm,
Yeah.
because we look for certain people to say certain things, and sometimes it ain't always what we need from that person, but what we actually need can come from something else. And
mm,
real quick, like I had a message. A homeless person gave me a word. I'm gonna try to make this story quick as possible. Well, I was washing my car one day, and it was early in the morning. It was over there in the hood area. It was, and homeless person came. He was digging in the trash can, and he asked me. He said, "Brother, can I dry your car for a couple dollars?" I was like, "But nah, go ahead, bro. Nah, I got it." Instantly, God said, "Let him dry your car off
mm,
and give him everything what's in your pocket."
mm.
Now, I learned a long time ago to stop wrestling when God speaks. I learned a long time ago. I missed out on so many blessings, knowing
Come
Yeah,
that
tell the
I
truth.
wrestled
Tell
when
it.
He told me to move. And
that's so good.
normally I don't record when I bless people, but I felt it was a need for me to record.
Mm,
I gave him my dry rag, let him dry it off, and I'm recording. He's drying it off. When he got finished, I said, "What do I owe you?" He looked at it. He stepped back. He said, $100. I said,
mm.
$100 just for drying off my car? He said, yeah, $100. I said, what makes you think what you done was worth $100? ladies, the next thing he told me was life changing. He said, because I know what I do and what it's worth, but also I take pride in what I do.
Mm.
He understand the value.
Wow.
So I remember I went in my pocket. I knew I had money. I went in my pocket. You know how you try to pull money out, but you don't want people to see? And
Yeah.
I pulled out like $4. I handed him $4. I said, is this enough? He said, no, keep coming.
Mm.
I went in my pocket. I went in my pocket and it was 2 more bills. It was 2 5s. He said, keep coming. So I went in my pocket, pulled out 2 more bills, 2 10s. He said, keep coming.
Wow.
Until I gave him everything in my pocket. He asked for 100 and it was $94 that I had in my pocket.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Look at God. Look
And
at
I
God.
told him, I said, you thought you came here to get a blessing. I said, but you just blessed me. You don't even realize it. And I told him, I said, with me being a speaker, a contract for programs that I present proposals to schools and administrators, and people reach out to me to come speak XYZ. And when I give them my prices, you know, a lot of times people want to negotiate. Sometimes people are like, well, I can't. I said, you don't even realize that you just showed me that no matter what they think, you stand on what you believe, your true value.
That's
and you don't waver from that. And I
That's
promise you, later on that afternoon, a school ordered like 350 books, which totaled out to be like $4,000.
Wow.
And it was like, I was obedient to God to give that man what God told me to make sure you give him everything in your pocket.
Come on.
And I got that same day, I ended up making almost $3,000, $4,000 on books. And so, again, just to answer your question, is that, you know, sometimes, again, I don't even go to people look for answers. Sometimes I just be still. And that's what we have to learn, to be still and listen when God is trying to show and tell us things. And, you know, sometimes when that's the problem, that sometimes that we're looking for too many people to give us what we need to hear. Like sometimes the confirmation is not in other people. Sometimes the confirmation can be from anything. You could be sitting at a light and the confirmation come from a stoplight.
That's so true. That's so true. That's so true.
Yes, sir.
Wow. It's about that relationship, like you said, having that ear to be able to hear, being obedient. And the other thing that I see that is a common theme with you is your motive. You like, I'm not running after just because it's a big church, a big name, a big this, a big that. I want to be positioned where God wants me
to be.
That's what makes the difference. And what you just said was so powerful, because a lot of times we as people look for validation from everybody else. But our identity and our validation has to be rooted in God, and more so what we think about ourselves, not what other people think about us.
All day.
Yes,
Absolutely.
so true. That is so true. And you know, Dr. Armstrong, you have to come back, because I can't even believe we coming close on time. And we haven't even cracked the door open. And on the power, because I don't think it's a mistake that God blessed you with 3 daughters. I don't think it's a mistake on how they came to be, nor do I think that there's no relation to the process that you had to walk through for your mom. I think they're all connected. And I know you can't wrap that in 6 minutes, but if you could leave us with a little bit of your take on that journey that you went through with relationships with women and how all of that is connected.
Come through, Tanya. I was going to ask.
That's a great question. And I didn't know how to love. I didn't know how to pick women. And I didn't know how to be a man to a woman. So through trial and error, through my own pain, you know, my mom, she was a woman who she had 6 kids by 5 different men. And, you know, going through what she went through, I've witnessed, and I saw my mom deal with multiple men. I saw my father, he was a womanizer. So all he had is women in and out the house. And so, you know, that was my perspective and understanding on love. or relationship. And so we didn't come from where the roots was rooted and deep rooted in those core values of love, honesty, commitment. We didn't know what that looked like. You know what I mean? We didn't understand what love looked like. You know what I mean? Honestly, I come from a background where as a family, we didn't even show that love and commitment to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and still to this day, as we speak, our family, a lot of people, is still like that. It's like pulling teeth to get the family to come together because people still holding on to things. But it caused me to make premature decisions. And, a lot of times, even when I was going through what I was going through at my lowest, sometimes a woman would come in and it was almost like, needing that person that I can just not only rely on, but can give me that nurturing, that love and that embrace that I'd never received. So it was so easy for me to jump in and out of relationships and not really taking my time. So, a lot of that comes from me, again, not having a relationship with my mom for so many years, witnessing and watching her do her thing, not having a relationship with my father who committed suicide in 2002. But before he did that, we never had a relationship. So a lot of times that what I experienced and went through in life is because I had to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
I had to figure it out. And so having my daughters, I tell people this all the time, my daughters has taught me how to love.
So awesome.
They taught me how to be compassionate, to care. And I've seen myself, I seen my father in me when I was in relationships previously or prior. I seen him through me when they had sons. And when it came to be disciplined and when it came to me to talk to them, I didn't know how to talk to them. I wanted them to be hard. I wanted them to suck it up. I always, instead of communicating with them about their decisions, to whatever they made, it was always going straight to the belt. And so I really saw him come out of me to where it spooked me. To with my daughters, you can't go straight try to whoop them. You have to talk to them. Something that I was never shown. You have to hug them. Something that I was never given. You have to let them know that they mean something to you. And with my daughters, I talk to them. My daughter, she just said, and I do my daughter's hair. I do stuff with them. Everything that I never received. And again, like you said, you are absolutely correct. My daughters are in my life for a reason, because what I never received, I get a chance to give this to these human beings, these precious, beautiful human beings. And my daughters are amazing. When I say they're crazy about me, they are crazy. You know what I mean? They know who I am. They talk very highly of me. They're not going to let nobody talk crazy about me. I have a 3-year-old. She just said the other day, no matter of fact, in here, and she was just like, say, Daddy. And I was like, what's up, boo? She said, I love you. My little 3-year-olds tell me she love me all the time. All the time. And so, still that look, listen, and then it's crazy because that little boy still come out sometimes and he still needs to be embraced. He still needs to be loved.
Yes, of course he does.
You know what I'm saying? He still needs to be loved. And I get that love. My 11-year-old, about to be 12, she hugs me so tight. You know what I'm saying? She hugs me so tight. And my middle girl, my daughters give me so much love, and I need it. I need it for them. And so I pour out so much to the world and to other young men that I can't wait to get my daughters.
That was one of the things
that's
an answer to your question, Benicia. Like, what does he get that fills him up?
Right.
And,
my daughters, and then it's great.
Yeah.
My daughters, and like you see it, like a lot of things, a lot of people don't know is that my oldest daughter was a plan, but I wasn't in the best position. My middle daughter was not a plan. I was going through a separation. I was losing everything in 2012 that I was not ready for her. I did not I can't know but she ended up being the best thing happened to me.
Mm.
The same thing with my baby girl. I was going through a separation. We were been separated like 18 months. The divorce wasn't final yet. I lost my house, and me being, I wouldn't say irresponsible. Again, I was irresponsible.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, listen, no. And I kept my middle daughter quiet and nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about it. Because again, I was ashamed of myself.
Mm.
I'm like, I can't let people see that I had another child. Like, didn't people just see you get married and your marriage only lasted a year? And like you and people. Here's what I want people to take away from what I'm sharing with them is that you don't have to be flawless.
Mm. Say that again,
You know,
Doc.
you don't have to be flawless. You don't have to be. Listen, you're gonna have scars. You're gonna
Yeah.
go through some things, and you're gonna still make dumb choices and decisions. But again, like you have to stay the course. And I was again. I can't share this. This wasn't the right time. And I'm just like, I can't believe this is happening. And it was just like, and believe it or not, that last little girl, if that ain't my dog, if that's not, if that's, listen, when I tell you, if that's not my girl right there, that last one,
Mm.
you know, and again, God has a reason and a purpose,
Yes, he does.
and everything has an intentional factor
Yes.
in your life for a reason. And I
Yeah.
know for a fact my daughters is my balance. And I make sure that I got off I was on a world tour this year. I got off that tour because of that.
Mm.
Because I realized that the person that was over that tour didn't share the same values that I had.
Yes.
Come on.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even though
So
you're talking
important.
about God, you saying God this and God that. As I'm sitting back and I'm analyzing some things, I'm realizing, wait a minute, something ain't aligned here. Like God, let me share something with you. God will allow things to happen so you can get the bigger picture. And what I mean by that is this: He allowed for me to get on a major platform with a major figure and travel just to understand everything that was happening. It was causing a discomfort.
Yeah.
And I was just like, every time, like, every time, every city, something is happening. Like, I'm bringing it, but something is happening. And, you know, me coming home, trying to balance my personal life, making sure I'm still in my kids' lives and traveling and speaking. And from the person, they didn't even have kids. So they didn't understand this.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
Right.
and so my again, my kids is my world.
Mhm.
Everything that I do, and it goes to the relationship that I have with my lady. She's the first woman that my kids have ever been around. They have never saw me with another woman ever.
Mm.
And my concept of that is because I saw what it done to me when I saw
Yeah.
my mom have multiple men in her
Absolutely.
house. I saw what it done to me when my father had women in at the house. So I would never show my kids any other woman. If
Yeah.
this relationship don't work, you know what I mean? I might still have it. No, I don't want y'all to see unless it's real. But the woman that I'm with now, you know, she loved my daughters as if though it's her
Yes.
own. And that's what I
Powerful.
saw. And that's what helped me understand. Like, even with us having whatever disagreement, I understand the relationship she had with my daughters. It's worth working out.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
worth
That's so
working out.
real.
So
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
so
So,
real.
and you know, just being around women honestly have taught me so much. My mistakes that I had in relationships has taught me so much, and the patience that I have now come from a lot of things that I experienced and a lot of things I caused on
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. That's so good. I love the fact that you made a choice not just for you but your kids. I talk
Mm-hmm.
to women about that all the time. I said you can't if I date someone and I don't believe that they would have the wisdom that my children would need
Mm-hmm.
if they came to them, then why am I with that person?
Mm-hmm.
We're
that's
not
it.
making choices
Right.
just for ourselves. When you
Right.
have children, you thinking long term in marriage,
Mm-hmm.
how is this individual going to be beneficial
Mm-hmm.
to my children? We a
Correct.
package deal. So I think that
Correct.
is so powerful
It
that
is. It
from
is.
that concept. And the same thing, like you said, just having all kind of different people around your children. It's your
Right.
uncle and it's your cousin and you this and you that. Like it's confusing.
Confusing.
And you want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
set the example, right,
Right.
for your children,
Mm-hmm.
because children do what they see, not
Yeah.
what you just tell
Yes.
them not to do. And I just commend you. I didn't grow up with of course, I knew my dad, but my dad was in prison a lot of my life. And I just commend you for being there because girls need their
Mm-hmm.
fathers.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes,
speak
sir.
identity into them.
Mm-hmm.
You bless them to be able to be confident, to really know who they are. I'm that person now because I've allowed God,
Right.
to, like you said, come into your life and fill those voids. But I just want to say that much, 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 much
Much
respect
respect.
for
Yes.
doing the
Yeah.
work of being
Mm-hmm.
a father, just not holding the title. I see you on posts doing their hair and just, you know what I mean?
You
Just
did their
trying
hair just before you came on here, right?
Yeah,
that's
listen, I got
amazing.
them edges right before I,
Laid
I
it
told them,
down. That's right.
yeah, my
I
daughters,
love
they're
it.
very in tune with that, with themselves, and I let them know that, I mean, they hold image and they hold being of making sure that you're together when you
Hmm.
step out that house means everything.
Mhm.
It says a
Hmm.
lot about your personality. It says a lot about your character. It says a lot of just about you. And I commend the mothers also, who are amazing women who make sure, because they know I don't play that. They know I don't play that. They make sure they have everything they need. You know what I mean? If not, they got
Mhm.
stuff here at the house. They good. They don't pack it back. They straight. But you know what I mean? Make sure my daughters, if somebody see my kids, they know they my kids, and they gonna listen. If Arkevious always together, them girls gonna be together. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Or if I ain't
Mhm.
together, they still gonna be together. And
Hmm.
they so respectful. Let me say that about my kids, because that's something that we're seeing also with this generation today, that they don't have respect, they don't have
Hmm.
manners, or they don't have integrity. My daughters are well mannered, even a 3-year-old,
Mm.
very respectful.
Yeah.
do not
So
do not
important.
talk out of turn, do not talk over people, they listen. And I've had people ask me so many times, like, your kids, and it's
Hmm.
not because I don't have to discipline my kids.
Hmm.
They understand and they know my position and my role, and they know they position and what they supposed to do, and they know my expectations. And so I talk to my kids, and again, I had to relearn what I was taught. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? We grew up like, put the belt to the, whoop them, whoop
Yeah.
them, whoop them, whoop them, whoop 'em. I got so many
Hmm.
whoopings that you can whoop me, I wouldn't even move. It didn't even bother me no more. I became a
Right.
meme.
None.
And,
None to
you know
it.
what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I talk, when I talk to them, they listen. And
Hmm.
Yes.
sometimes it's just the tone of voice. They really,
Yes.
okay, that ain't playing. So
Hmm.
we
Yes.
have to understand that we need to get that respect back from these kids. And
That's
it's
so
not
true.
about fear, it's about respect.
Absolutely.
And the
Absolutely.
young boys that I mentor and step up to leadership, that's one of the things they'll tell you, what's my number one goal? And they will all say respect,
Mm.
Mm.
respect. That's my number one goal. We can kiki and ha and joke around, but respect is my number one goal, because
Mm.
respect is
Mhm.
going to create opportunities and put you in places.
Hmm.
It's going to keep you there, because respect is going to display your character, your personality, your gifts, and your talents. And if you understand that, I promise you, it will set you up for for a brighter future. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
again,
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
And we are so over, but and I left this comment by Dr. Clara up for a minute because
Mm.
I want you to see. I spoke it, right? And you received it, you
yeah,
claiming it, but it's in front of you in writing right now. You
I
see how
see that.
pretty it
I
went?
saw that, Dr.
Okay,
Armstrong.
I just
Doctor.
wanted you to see that, Dr.
Absolutely.
Armstrong, because
Hmm.
this has been so powerful. We are definitely going to have you back. I would love to
Yes.
have you on a panel with some other men to talk and share, maybe even lead the panel and kind of help our listeners understand what it's like to give back to the community,
Mhm.
even though you've walked through so many things in your own life, and letting go of that hurt to be a positive impact and
Mhm.
change to the world. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having you back on the show.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm going to share all your information. I'm going to post it. But what I want to do is take Benicia and I out of the way so you could just have a little bit to leave the folks with something that you want to leave them with.
Absolutely.
And then we'll part ways. So the mic is yours, brother.
Okay.
Speak your
Well,
mind and your heart.
I want to say thank you guys for having me. I want to say thank you to all the listeners. We appreciate you being a part, attending, being attentive, also responding back to a lot of things that we was talking about. But I want to let you know right now that we all have a purpose, we all have a calling, and we all have a story. It's about what you do with your story. It's about whatever life you impact. But don't be ashamed of your scars, but allow your scars to be seen by other people, because what your scars represents is healing. Your scars represent something that you experienced, something that you had to encounter, but it also shows people that you got through it. Now, I'd rather have you lick your wounds or you rather look at your wounds, but I want you to look at your wounds to be a representation of what you've been through. And we all have been through something, but you have something special. You have a gift, you have a purpose, you have a promise on your life. But while you on this earth, I want you to fulfill that. I want you to tap into that, and I want you to push no matter how you feel. I want you to climb no matter how hard it may get. I want you to get up every single day pursuing your dreams. Whatever God has called you to do, I want you to pursue it. I mean, when you don't feel like, I want you to pursue it. When it's not looking pretty for you, when it's not looking like it's working in your favor, I want you to pursue it. Because what you don't realize is that at the end of the tunnel, you will be victorious. At the top of the mountain, you will be victorious. At the end of the finish line, you will be victorious. And I love you. I want to say, I wish you guys the best. Not only that, you are great. And I want you to stay inspired.
Absolutely powerful
Awesome.
and a blessing
You're
to the
like,
world. Thank
I
you.
received
I
that.
know, right? Trying to keep it together. Absolutely
Awesome.
powerful.
Yes,
So appreciate you.
very much.
And
Taking your
you
time
will
out.
be back, sir.
Okay, absolutely. But if they want to reach out to me as far as wanting to purchase my latest book, I want people to still be able to tap into that. And I know we didn't get into it, but I want people to understand that my book right here, Confidence from Within, it is a 60-day challenge, a challenge that helps people work on those things
Yeah.
that we seem to struggle with. And what's in this book is confirmation, affirmation, but assessment is an assessment guide to where I wrote these quotes down to help me overcome certain things. And so what I figured out, like, if these things help me, I know what to help other people. And with the purchase of this book, everyone gets a free documentary. Those are definitely DVD. If you don't have a DVD, I know we're kind of outdated with the DVD, but we do not have no more of the flash drive. So it's definitely something that you can watch, but it shows you the journey that my mom had to go through from her drug addictions and all of those things. But it talks about how and her have a relationship, and not how and her, but her and I have a relationship, and how we are able to sit down and talk about some of the things that we had to overcome. But it talks about her even going to prison and how prison saved her life as well.
Wow.
But again,
I
I
put
think you
all
guys,
the links
yeah,
for you.
absolutely.
They're in the comments. So you guys, please definitely definitely purchase.
Yeah.
Go purchase.
Absolutely.
And support the initiative, and even that too. Go to the website, and wherever there's an opportunity, like you talked about value and worth, and Benicia and I are not ones to say we don't say we need you to support the show. Our way of saying that is to put the QR code in the corner. If you want to support what Arise and Shine is doing, then shine your camera on the QR code. But you have to not be ashamed to say, I need your support to make the great things that are happening continue to happen.
Correct.
Right? So I appreciate you even driving that point home. So much good stuff, Doc.
Yes,
So much
yes,
good
yes,
stuff.
yes.
You better invite me to the ceremony when that becomes official, because
That's
I'm gonna be
right.
full screaming right up in there.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yes.
called him Doc before the papers was dry.
Listen, I'm receiving that. I'm
Mhm,
receiving that.
mhm.
And that's one of the amazing things that I feel like you got to have people around you to speak those things
Yes.
over you.
That's right.
You know, people that see you being greater than where you at right now. You
Mm.
can't have people who just excited for you with who you are right now and content with that. You need people to
Mm.
speak higher and
That's
greater
good.
things and saying, listen, I see you doing this. I
That's so
tell people
true.
like who you have in your corner is very important. It's very important that you have.
Everything.
I sat down with somebody the other day before we leave, and we was talking, and I was very intentional about me let her know that with the things that you're doing, and you got all your friends behind you right now, are they speaking life in you? Or are
Mm.
you just okay with y'all just sitting around the table having a glass of wine, talking about XYZ, but not even your goals, not even your dreams? I said,
Wow.
any one of these people that's around you right now, who are helping you?
Wow.
Who's
Yes.
helping you? And so
Pushing.
you have to be very careful with who you have in your corner, because this thing called life is, we are in the ring. You got to have people that's going to be in your corner and not in the stands. You know,
That's
you know,
right.
you
Somebody
know.
put that in the chat. In your corner
Yes.
and not in the
Be in
stands.
your
That's
corner.
so
She
good.
just put the coins to it.
Yeah. Well,
In your corner.
Denise said she just ordered hers. Thank you so
Mhm,
much, Denise. Blessings to you. Blessings to you.
mhm.
But make sure you have people in your corner, not in the audience, because people in the audience, they'll cheer for you even when you're losing or when you're winning.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
got people in your corner, listen, they're gonna nurse you back to victory.
Yes.
They're gonna tell you what you're
Amen.
doing wrong. They're
Mhm,
gonna give you what you need to help you get back on your feet. So you got to
mhm.
have the right people in your corner that believe in you, that's going to fight with you, that's going to speak life over you, that's going to uplift you and thrust you forward.
So good.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you again, and we will see you soon.
Let's make
I'm gonna we're gonna close this thing out. Hang out for a minute if you can. I know you
okay.
have an event, but hang out for a minute. We'll be right there in the green room with you. All
Mhm.
right. Benicia,
It was
was
worth
that
the wait.
powerful?
It was
Girl.
worth the wait. I'm so full. I seen Sherry Hawkins said the same thing, that I'm so full. It was so it was a replay for me for sure. Already in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm going to go
To
replay
watch
and
this
really
again.
listen to the nuggets that he dropped. He dropped
Yes.
some wisdom, some nuggets,
Yes.
some practical steps, some spiritual steps. And so I'm just full.
Yes.
And I
The
pray that
healing.
everyone would share. Like really,
Hmm.
really, really, if this blessed you today, I'm making it a point that when I hear things that really bless me, to hit the share button, because if it helped
I
me,
get them. I get them.
it helps somebody.
Yes.
Yes, it helps somebody else. So we pray that you were blessed. We can't say how much we appreciate you enough for joining in. We never take a view
Yes.
for granted, and we hope that something that was said today has changed your perspective, your life, your circle, whatever it takes to get you closer to your purpose and your destiny.
Yes. Yes. And I know you stand in agreement with me, Benicia. I just speak prosperity, abundance, and
Absolutely.
wisdom
Favor, peace.
over Dr.
Yes,
Armstrong's
yes,
initiatives, all that he's doing. It's just he's such an inspiration. So the fact that
yeah,
they call him Mr. Inspire
yes.
works because he's such an inspiration to me. When you can listen to the crap that's out there and believe that there aren't brothers that are doing the
Mhm.
right thing, and
Yeah,
it's crap.
it
I'm
is.
here to tell you
Right.
firsthand. We
Yes.
interview and talk to many of them. It's so nice to meet a real one.
Yeah,
It really is.
absolutely.
So we thank you guys. We love you so much. You can count on us for real people, real topics, and real talk.
Yes.
That's what me and B are all about.
That's right.
And we will continue to love on you. And we have another extraordinary story next Saturday. So, get cozy, grab the popcorn, and get into our DMs if you're interested in sponsoring a show and you have a promo or something that you want to share. We'll do some shout outs for you. We are looking for some sponsors as well.
Yeah.
So we will see you next week. Be good, y'all. Be
Happy
blessed.
Saturday.
Yes, God love you. Go get some sun. Bye.
Bye.